Yo, what is going on? We are back after pretty much wrapping up yesterday talking about the Cleopatra Jones movies. We are back today on this Saturday morning, my time, and we're talking Black Belt Jones, Jim Kelly goodness. As always, I am joined by my co-host, my favorite partner, Varangian Vigilante, drinking his nice cup of coffee. How are you doing?
Tea. It's tea. I'm civilized. I'm drinking tea.
So you're in the tea business now.
Exactly. I'm drinking tea and I'm watching coffee.
Nice. Yeah. So we are in 1974, and this is Jim Kelly's big breakout film after Into the Dragon, which was his first major role. Yeah. But before that, he was in another film in a small role called Melinda, which starred Calvin Lockhart, Renetta McGee, and also what's up, Gary B?
Yeah, we have nothing better to do, so
we are back. We won't be back next week. That's why we're doing this double shot with on the Saturday. So yes, but yeah, he appeared in the movie Melinda with Calvin Lockhart, Renetta McGee, and Rosalind Cash, and then he got his big break with Into the Dragon. So this is technically Jim Kelly's third film appearance, and what a way to start out with Black Belt Jones.
Yeah, Black Belt Jones is a fantastic title. I already told you the German title. It absolutely makes no sense at all. Here, this movie is called Freie Fahrt ins Jenseits, which can be translated to a free ride to the afterlife. Which sounds very much like a horror movie title.
It sure does. It doesn't sound nothing like a martial arts film.
Yeah, like a martial arts film, like a mixture of martial arts and mafia movie, like.
Yeah, it's like this movie had the title of Blaxploitation. It's got martial arts. It's got the mob in it. I'm like, oh, sweet. I appreciate that. You must got a second copy of it.
It's good. I was so happy that I found mine, and
nice. I appreciate that, Gary B. I mean, you look at you calling us fools to start off the show, and then you say, "Hey, Sean, I got that Marvel Brother Conan."
Best redemption story so far.
But yeah, I love this film. The action is great. Jim Kelly is great. I think the cast is phenomenal. And we was talking backstage about how some of the cast members actually starred in Chuck Turner, which was around the same time frame in 1974. So they did a great job in this film. The villains are excellent. You got mafia guys, you got the black gangsters led by Pinky, and the movie just runs so well. Perfectly paced. All the characters are intriguing. Gloria Hendry is beautiful and badass. And, the movie it's a fun romp.
Exactly, yeah. Like you said, Gloria Hendry is playing Sydney, who's... Yesterday we already talked about Cleopatra Jones, a kick-ass woman. Same goes for her. She's kicking ass in this movie. And it's gonna make the motherfuckers look like some sick.
I was ready to say it, but I was like, "Oh, BB's gonna say it." hey, she said the word twice, and I was like, "Oh."
Hey, if a protagonist can say it, then everybody should be able to say it. Like, good people say it.
But she came in and instantly showed her dominance, and that's what makes her a great side companion to Black Belt Jones. Absolutely. You never seen this, Gary B?
Oh, man, Gary, we gave you a lot of homework.
I expect a post later on from Gary B saying he don't watch Black Belt Jones because of us.
And Gary, extra info for you, Gloria Henry. Also a beautiful woman, and she's a Bond girl, so you surely find
Let's not.
some nice pictures of her. Yeah,
And she's still alive too.
Yeah. Live and and also like movies like I gotta watch Live and Let Die again. Yaphet Kotto.
Yaphet Kotto, Julius. Yeah. Hey,
color reaction.
I like I said, I love Yaphet Kotto in that film. I just hated that ending for him. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, like the Bond franchise is not known for treating character endings like kindly.
It's either they give him a stupid death or they give him something real brutal like Benicio del Toro and License to Kill. But yeah, back to this film. One thing I really love is how things escalate. And Black Belt Jones, who at first did not want to be a part of the whole infiltrate the mob winery to get the photos, and then end up being a part of it because it ended up coming towards him with the black gangsters who work for the mob. And their whole thing with the mob is they want a piece of the territory that's within that inner city, and the building that's there is owned by Scatman Crothers' character, who plays what's his name again? Pop Bird.
Pop Bird, yeah. The owner of the dojo.
Well, we thought he was the owner.
Yeah.
But then we find out when they get there to interrogate him, he said Sydney owns it, not me. And Sydney, who they thought was a man, ended up being his daughter. That he last saw for 20 years. He left when she was 5 years old, but he was able to teach her some karate. And it's funny seeing Scatman Crothers in this role where he's a karate master.
Yeah,
he's got questionable honor. He runs this building full of karate students, but then everybody asks where's Pops at, and he's in the back, with some lady that's saying, why you seeing her? You should see me, He's got questionable morals.
Yeah.
And man, this guy's really running the dojo, and he owe people money. He's got so many women coming through.
Today they were probably fake martial artists.
Hey, it's like an extension of his character from Chuck Turner when he was a retired pimp.
Yeah. There ain't no thing, something like a retired pimp.
Living the life. But as interesting as it was seeing them, it was still cool to see something like that. And the great Arnold Weeks, who was also in Chuck Turner, he's one of the headmasters there at the school. And I feel like we don't get enough of him, but we still get a good portion of him, mostly in the beginning. And I thought he played his role very well.
Yeah. In general, fantastic characters, a lot of legends, of course, also from the blaxploitation genre in there. Even though, yesterday, I wouldn't classify this movie as blaxploitation. It's martial arts movie first.
Yeah, it's a martial arts film. They label it blaxploitation because it's got black people in it, but
and also that connect. Also, there's also something that the Sopranos touch a little bit on, and we also see, I think, in Black Caesar that the black community very often is used by the Italian mob as scapegoats.
Yeah, especially when they find out that Hanky he's got the money after he got the money from Black Belt to save the student, and they come in there you trying to rip us off with our own money and stuff, and they was about really to do him in until he realized, hey, I got set up by Black Belt Jones,
Yeah, I really like this scene because when he threatened Pop, also or the others, you had this with the billiard table.
Yeah.
And then later, he had to eat the same by the Italian mob.
That ball had a nice bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the beginning, you had those three young revolutionaries go in there to try and stop him from, spreading poison in the neighborhood, and they get upended. And like you said, that was like the early setup of, I'm gonna, remove the cavities from your mouth, because if you don't got no teeth, you won't get no cavities. And it's like, damn, we were denied seeing something like that happen. But then it happened to Pinky later in the film. So it was like, see what happens when you threaten to do that to somebody, it comes back and points on that.
How you can better describe the American healthcare system within 2 sentences. No cavities and you have no teeth.
And then if you got no teeth, how are you gonna eat? You gonna be sipping through a straw. But yeah, that, like, the whole premise is the mob wants that location, and they use Pinky as a way to say, take control of the building and we'll compensate you. And it ends up being hard because the first time they go there, the Island Weeks and the Karate Kids was ready and see a brawl, and they win. And Pinky them have to retreat. So Toppy calls Black Belt Jones, and then we get probably one of the best scenes in the film, where Toppy hides behind the curtain, cuts off the lights, and Black Belt Jones goes in, sneaks inside, and takes him out when the lights come on, and then they go back and forth.
Yeah, you have a really nice some trickeries in there. I also really like, the training also with the female gymnasts later. Yeah, when they want to infiltrate the mob hideout, where you get all the nice trickery. There's a camera, you put like a photo of it on it. So
that's a lot of work to create trickery.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the wind blew and the trickery got spoiled. But the damage was done.
Yeah. And generally, you have some really fantastic fights in there. Sometimes, what is a little criticism. However, I think this is also like how the movie was intended. Sometimes the humor doesn't hit so well. That sometimes you wish there would be a little bit more brutality in the fights.
I thought the best humor came from Pinky, because he's just such a character. When he does his little song and sings it, like, you just can't help but laugh with him, because it's just he's such a character.
Actually, I think that Sydney had the best lines.
Yeah, Sydney had the best lines too, but I think Pinky as a villain, was charismatic with how he delivered.
Absolutely. He was even more memorable than like the Italian mobsters.
Yeah, we don't really see much of the Italian mob. They're more like secondary. It's almost like Pinky and his squad were the true villains, and the mob guys are just the background.
You were more like almost felt like the mysterious force behind.
Yeah, they only came into play when they infiltrated the winery, and then they had to play a role towards the last part of the film. But other than that, I felt like it was a struggle between Black Belt Jones and Pinky. Because Pinky called in reinforcements, the Bogarts, and they had that was legit muscle. Like, they had muscle, and they came in there and they handled the martial artists.
I do have to say, when they introduced like the Bogarts, that like the introduction scene was actually, they were also sympathetic for villains. They were always like, he's like, hey.
This was right after Pinky talked to the mob boss. And the big tuna told him, make sure you stand on the right. And when he gets on the right, all the water is sprinkling up, so he got to get wet. So it's like, yeah, you still got to respect the Don, but you got to pay for it in terms of getting wet. Yeah. But yeah, Pinky definitely stood out as the better villain.
Absolutely.
And he had the better lines. He was charismatic. And of course, he had henchmen to go with it. and one of the henchmen that we briefly mentioned earlier, both of them, both of them was in Turner as henchmen. So, you know, these movies, like when you watch all the Black Potato, you just see the same people play the same roles, whether they're drug dealers or they're henchmen or pimps.
Yeah. I do wish they had like one of the henchmen that would have been more in the line of like the evil copy of Black Belt Jones, like somebody who can match him with martial arts to have like this epic final like duel. Because we have like a really epic final, but it's mostly like he and Sidney have to fight off like multiple enemies.
Yeah.
I actually think that the fight highlight is not the final fight, but is the fight in the bus, because this was like a really well thought out scene, like in a close encounter, where he could really work against fighting like multiple enemies.
Actually, this movie do have a sequel. It's called Hot Potato. Most people don't know that, but
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've seen it once before. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But a lot of people don't think this has a sequel, but it does. It's just called Hot Potato. And it's a weird title to call the Black Belt Jones sequel, Hot Potato.
I want to look what the German title is. Maybe it's even weirder.
But yeah, it's pretty weird that it was called Hot Potato. And again, a lot of times they attribute the failure of that movie because of blaxploitation was on the downside. And I'm like, the movie is set in Asia.
Yeah. Hot Potato doesn't even has a German title. I don't think it was released here.
Yeah, the movie was set in Asia, and it's not even truly a blaxploitation film, just like this movie is.
Yeah,
it's a kung fu action flick.
But I also think that with Kelly, he functions, of course, very well in kung fu movies. So actually appreciate that they did also more kung fu movies with him, since he has like the charisma, like really in the Bruce Lee range. Like when you watch Enter the Dragon, that I think that he and Bruce Lee are like the two standouts of the movie from the good participants of the tournament.
Yeah.
I still think that even of course Saxon is awesome, but it was weird to see him like in a martial arts film.
Yeah, even as a kid, I'm like, man, Jim Kelly was way cooler than Saxon. So
yeah,
it just felt wrong that they killed off the wrong guy.
So luckily we got like a lot of Kelly movies, but I still think that he could have been a bigger star if he got more pushed on the internet. Because in the USA, we probably know why he didn't get pushed.
And that's another thing. Is like a lot of them could have been great stars. And I always felt like one of the most underrated actors throughout the blaxploitation era was Derval Martin. He was highly underrated, and every movie that he acted in, he was great in.
And finally, he's getting more respect than during his lifetime. But he would have deserved to get the recognition while he was alive.
Yeah, and he was unfortunately passed away in the early '80s, and that was
sad.
But he was such an underrated actor in both action movies, drama movies. He was the total package, even the Dolomite as the villain.
Yeah.
But with Jim Kelly, like, he definitely could have been a much bigger star. And I still respect Fred Williamson for continuing to give him roles, like Did 3 the Hard Way, Take a Hard Ride, and then One Down, Two to Go in 1982. You know, Jim Kelly is such an important piece to this genre that you have to give that man respect because he brought a whole new element to blaxploitation. Everybody and their mama was doing kung fu with Bruce Lee, and then Jim Kelly was doing that thing.
I mean, there's so many movies we have to talk in the future, like Black Samurai.
Oh yeah.
Then what is the movie? I think it's called in German, Der Einzelkämpfer. Death Dimension.
Death Dimension?
Death Dimension, yeah. And he also did some stuff like in Hong Kong.
Yeah, he did a lot of films that most people just don't talk about. It's like Black Belt Jones and Into the Dragon are the only two movies people know of Jim Kelly. Like I said, Hot Potato is just completely buried under a rug. People don't even know that that's a Black Belt Jones sequel.
Yeah, maybe we should do like for May, like like martial arts May, and we're gonna highlight some lesser known martial artists.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Because we could talk all the big names all we want, but there's some underrated martial arts films that don't get the recognition.
Yeah, even with The Ultimate Warrior, there's a martial arts film.
Oh yeah, The Ultimate Warrior. But this film had a lot of great action scenes. First of all, the opening action scene, where he stopped the guys from the assassination attempt, and he just starts trashing them. I love how he just destroyed the cop's car by throwing them through the glass, tossing them on the. Yeah, we gotta do Undercover Brother too, man. That's another fun film. But great opening scene, and then the one part where the guy tries to run away, he picks up the gun and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, that's the best thing. What was one martial arts movie? The beginning scene that either gets the protagonist over, or that really establishes like the villain as a absolute beast.
We will make sure that I will start this. I will make sure that I write it down. That Undercover Brother Gary V will be on.
And there's no Gary. You can join every stream. You're always welcome here.
Oh yeah, and then I guarantee you when he'll look up the fine female model that's in the film and say, "Oh man, you seen her pictures on Reddit, Sean?" But yeah, Jim Kelly really was the standout. They utilized this film perfectly for him to be the star of it. Gloria Hendry was great, and no doubt she held her own. But this was a Jim Kelly vehicle, and every scene that he had as a fighting scene was magnificent. Like he held his own, and he did his thing.
And like I said, the best one was really the fight within the bus. He finished everyone got the same treatment, got thrown through a window. So I was like already counting like how much glass windows are there left.
I posted that scene a couple years ago, along with the 3 the Hard Way scene, and it's like, man, is he gonna like use every car of that train to throw everybody through the glass window?
Yeah, and I also think it's better than the end fight, because I'm still not sure in the end fight if it was that good of an idea to have like the car wash and like the bubbles everywhere. If that took away from the intensity,
the end fight was too long.
That for sure, yeah. Yesterday with Cleopatra Jones, the second one also had a long end fight, but that end fight was so diverse and we had so many participants like in the final battle that it was totally fine.
It felt like a massive gun battle that turned into a kung fu battle.
But here the scale was not as big, so the end fight took a little bit too long.
Yeah, the slow motion could be hit or miss, and the way they did it, like I thought it was creative with the bubbles, but then it got dragged on, and I was like, all right, when they gonna wrap this up?
I think would it be better would to have like a fight through the car wash.
It probably the degree of difficulty would have been a bit higher. So
you could also play with the hot wax and everything. Like you have more.
And I know if they would have had Gloria Hendry in that fight, it's like she ain't got no panties on. Can I get my pants on?
Yeah, you can, and you can have like
She pulls it out.
You can have a little polish on some parts. And
wait a minute, what is that on the windshield? Yeah, that was funny, man. That was funny. But yeah, the end of the fight scene was a bit of a downer. Like it was too long, too drawn out, and we could have gotten something a bit epic, but we didn't.
Yeah,
it's still not bad, but it's not the best fight scene in the whole movie. Like the fight scene at the winery, when they infiltrated it, and he has to go through guys. I thought that was better.
Absolutely, but otherwise, movie also didn't have like the thickest plot. Didn't have a multitude of characters, but here I think everything got great connected. You can clearly have the movie, in the introduction of the hero, then you have the introduction of the villain, then you have the confrontation with Pop, like the murder of Pop, then you have the funeral scene, and then meet Sydney, establishing Sydney, and then having like multitudes of fight until the end. So also like how they established Sydney as being like a badass, also amazing scene. So I think this movie is very well structured for the film plot. So it's not a movie that I think anybody that has a little love for martial arts could get bored with.
No.
This movie that lasts, and as you can listen like in the background, also has a killer theme.
How can I have a killer theme? So like I said, overall the movie's just a fun movie. Great martial arts, it highlights Jim Kelly's skills, and the cast is great. It's just an overall fun movie to watch, and there's nothing bad you can really say about it. Like, we had a problem with the ending fight, and certain things could have been a little bit better,
but like I say, it's it's like making criticism like on a high level, because we're talking most of the movies that we really enjoy, and you can make almost every movie better. And really, there are a multitude of movies like this, out there. There's a whole Bruce Station genre. So there's so many films that, like, I don't think if we both would live to 150 years old and have a weekly show, that we could talk about all these movies. Hey, Biggie! And especially in Hong Kong, there's like, it felt like every day like 10 martial arts movies are coming out.
What I like about this comment, and I agree, Gary, what's missing is the medium budget films. You still have your low budget films, and nowadays it's all about the blockbusters.
Yeah.
The medium budget films that have a respectable budget, those are gone.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons for this is how many film studios are left. What film studios have been eaten by bigger film studios? You have Sony still independent, Warner Brothers is independent, then you have, of course, Disney. Disney also includes Fox, Miramax, and so many others. yeah, and other studios just died out. Like of course, what Coron? Forgot.
I know
From
you had Lionsgate.
yeah, Lionsgate, and the one also of course who did
New Line Cinema.
is it Coronco? I forgot. Like, did some of the film.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know the one with the star with the C.
Yeah, one with the C, which of course I think also had RoboCop and of course also Total Recall.
And you can't forget the greatness of
Orion, and Canon.
Canon. Bro, Canon put out so many movies in the 70s and 80s. A lot of them were like low to the medium budget films.
Exactly, and I think that this sort of genre is coming a little bit back within horror, with Blumhouse and other little studios. But in sort of Miramax is also owned by Disney. But in other martial arts movies, you see it a little. I really like the remake of the Kickboxer movies. Those are what the first one was with Batista as the bad guy. The second one is with the Icelandic strongman Thor. I'm forgetting names left and right here.
I'm debating if we should do a stream.
Half-Joe Bjornsson.
If we should do a stream talking about all the kickboxing and all the blood sports.
Yeah. Especially the kickboxer. I mean, the original is the original, it's like with the best dancing action in it. But the remakes are really good. Yeah, and this problem is that all the big studios bought out the little studios. And let's face it, Warner Brothers, Disney, Sony, they are not interested in movies that, make 2 million, 3 million profit. Which is crazy because there's a lot of money, but not for multi-billion dollar companies. And
sometimes a medium budget film can make big bank and become a big budget film.
There are certain regulations in the US. I think that one company can't own too many companies, but I still think that should be tighter because it's like monopolies are the worst thing in every business. Yeah, you want to have competitive studios, and they also want to have small studios, medium studios. So you have studios, where the young talent gets their first movies. When you have directors, they get their first movies. When we see today, Ridley Scott, James Cameron, and all the others, they didn't start with big budget movies.
No, they got their start with all the medium budget films. And those films, like I said, they became big budget films because of that success. So that's why eliminating the middle budget films is just a dumb idea. If these companies like Disney and Warner say, hey, let's do a medium budget film.
Yeah. Just to test somebody,
it might become a big budget.
How it was when you see some films, especially when you look a lot on the comic book movies that lately failed. You got a lot of directors that were not hired because of merit, because they were hired because they were friends of somebody, and it's also detriment to them because maybe they could become talented directors, but they should have given them smaller movies first to fail and to learn how to do better. But we sadly don't live currently in an environment in media that really cares about merits. And it shows in the box office, it shows everywhere. And I'm all for, that I don't care where somebody comes from, what gender they have, I don't even care what they think they might are. The only thing care about is, do they make a good product?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they make a good product off a medium budget, the fruits of labor will come. The
Yeah.
money will come.
It's, for example, like, the director of Solomon Kane, who later transitioned into a woman, and now did the new Red Sonja movie. I really enjoyed the Solomon Kane movie, and that director has my respect, and like, I really don't mind what their life choices are. The only thing the only thing that counts is, can you direct a movie or not?
That's be the only thing that matters.
Yes.
So like I said, I think the discussion about this is pretty important, because we've talked about how this movie and even Cleopatra Jones, they had medium level budgets.
Exactly.
They put some effort into those films because they say this could be something.
And also, when you look back, of all these fantastic movies, martial arts movies from this time period, today everybody is talking diversity. Back in the day, blaxploitation genre, really showcased a lot of black talent. Hong Kong cinema showcased, of course, fantastic actors from within Hong Kong. Of course, China being like the regime that it is. Also did fantastic movies, still doing great movies, despite being like a horrible regime. Then, of course, you got a lot of fantastic samurai movies from Japan. Then you got also some really great martial arts movies, sometimes from Italy. They're sometimes in cooperation with Shaw Brothers. So you have from all over the world a rich, diverse conglomerate of movies.
And another thing that we had way back then was, there was a variety of genres. Western movies were still an important genre in the 70s. Yeah, it wasn't as strong as it was in the 50s and 60s, but it still was there. You had your Hong Kong martial arts films. You had your woman in prison films, which was
lots of them.
Lots of them. And it's like, the variety of films that came out of the exploitation era was strong. Like, you can watch any film, whether it was a Western, whether it was action, whether it was, blaxploitation, whatever, and they can make it work with any type of cast, no matter what. And it sucks what movies has become, because the variety is just gone. Even with what variety we have, it's not as good as it was back then.
Exactly.
And that's because of the elimination of the medium budget. You're not getting those medium style films. It sucks.
I really think we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the point again, because it has to. Because big studios are losing a lot of money, and expensive movies becoming more and more risk. Let's face it. Of course, we are like in a niche. We are like, regarding movies, we're like smart marks. Like we are niche. Like, the mainstream audience doesn't dive so deep into the multitude of films, international, like C movies, B movies, etc. However, the mainstream audience is also not going into the cinema anymore as often, which has also a platitude of reason. On the first hand, of course, like, inflation aside, with all the shit going on in the world, so there's less budget to go to the cinemas, especially for families, and then also the quality of the movie drops. Movies anymore. Is there
Say that
anything?
Again? Your mic went out for a little bit. Say that
Okay.
again.
Is there any reason to watch like a current comic book adaptation if you're not a fan of the character? there's nothing new to be told.
Yeah. No,
And yeah,
I agree
And-
100%.
and they make the movies too long. I think what the westerns did very well, and I think also why they survived so long. Even if, let's face it, the late spaghetti western also didn't add anything new to the genre, except for becoming more and more like a comedy act. Is that those movies were still short and enjoyable? You didn't get anything new, but you got the same again, and it was very rewatchable. When I go into the cinema and there's a movie that is 70, 80 minutes long, then I'm not pissed if I'm getting the same thing again and again, if it's the stuff I like. But if I go in there and then getting like a 2.5 hour movie and there's nothing new in it, then it's like, hell no.
Part of me felt that way with the Tarantino Western film that he did a few years back. Like, it was good, but I was like, did it need to be like 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Good? Like, it's half the stuff that it was nothing.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and of course the soundtrack by Ennio Morricone, which also rightfully won an Oscar, fantastic. But when I have the choice, watch this movie for the second time, or watch The Great Silence for the 100th time, I'm gonna rewatch The Great Silence.
Exactly, because The Great Silence was like that movie that like really subverted the expectations of the hero coming out on top. Like, no, that movie said no, the hero ain't coming out on top, and it's like you want a movie like that completely like changes the landscape of how a movie should end.
Yeah,
and look at that, like an hour and 17 minutes Lola Cole was, and it was a phenomenal film.
Exactly. Would the movie better if it was any longer? No. And this is also something that is lost with a lot of modern directors. Not every movie has to be 2.5 hour long. And I very much value a director more that has the capability to tell a compelling story within 90 minutes, which is way tougher than to just make like a 2-3 hour movie.
I agree. Because sometimes those movies can just drag. And you're going through the film, and I'm like, man, that was like a waste of 15 minutes right there. Like, they could have cut that out. So, like I said,
like there are movies like The Lord of the Rings where I'm like, make it 5 hours long because there's the material you have. That is, and then you have The Hobbit, which this is just a small book. Like, you don't make it 3 movies.
You don't need 3 hours of 6 movies or 3 movies.
So I think that how to make a movie and how to not make a movie can be perfectly summed up by looking at The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yep, exactly. But this was pretty engaging discussion about that whole medium budget. I'm glad Gary brought it up, because it's something that I remember watching a video on, and I was like, this needs to be brought up more, how the elimination of the medium budget films like completely wrecked Hollywood, and now they're just like looking for answers on why their big budget films are flopping, because nobody wants to go see that shit.
And personally, I know like there's so many people bitching about AI art online. I personally think that the power of AI, I don't think that human creativity will ever go away. Human creativity, I think human madness, human creativity can't be reproduced. However, I think that AI is a very powerful tool that democratizes, like to give more people access to the power of creating movies. And especially, when a lot of people look at, I just saw a post of an artist that I actually like on Instagram. There's like, AI art sucks, AI art sucks. Like, first of all, if you're an artist and you're threatened by AI art, you have zero personality. Because nobody will go to Dali or Midjourney and ask for an autograph of the program. No, as an artist, AI art is not your enemy
Just keep doing your thing.
Yeah, because people want to buy art from people and not from machines. But I truly think,
Look
that
at all this art behind me, man. I'd rather have that.
But I think for a young director that doesn't have a budget, that doesn't have the connection to get within the studio system, that he in the future can make his own film with AI, and if that one is coherent and people watch it, get the chance of doing the movie like with real actors. And also the big thing is, when you look about AI now, AI, they have 6 fingers, etc. We're gonna talk about it in 1 year. The technology is progressing so crazily.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I think that AI is a different genre as human-made art. I don't think that one will take away from the other. I just think that AI gives humans way more tools to express their creativity. Not everybody is a talented artist, but somebody might have like a lot of creativity and is capable of writing down his creativity into a prompt, and the AI tool is creating like an artwork out of that prompt. Is it like an art? Is this an artwork? Or for me, artwork is the wrong. It's just visualizing the creativity of somebody. Is it on par in ethical terms with the art of a human? Absolutely not. But it gives that person a chance to visualize their their creativity. And I'm currently also like working on like a program for an AI Congress this in June, and also did it for the Congress we did last year. And the changes that occurred like within this 1 year, it's just crazy. I immediately had to think about the Will Smith video that he posted with AI.
But the long story short, all these artists, they shouldn't get all upset and stuff. Just keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. Go to cons. You still can draw art for your fans. And like I said, the art behind me by Gabby California Blend, that cannot be replaced by
because AI art is not your enemy. AI art can look beautiful, but it will never have a soul.
Yes. So that's that with AI and medium budget and stuff.
Yes, I'm looking forward, to somebody who maybe storyboards like the idea through AI, like somebody who wouldn't get the chance from a major studio. So I really think that the technology could solve a lot of problems we have now with big companies.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe in 1 year we're sucking robot cocks because they took over.
Gary agrees, man.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But with that in mind, I thought with the thin plot, Black Belt Jones was still an entertaining film. Great stuff. If you have not watched this film, Gary B, check it out. You will enjoy it. It's a fun movie.
Absolutely. And next week we're off, but
we're off. But tonight we got the Comic Call crew, Heroes After Dark, the collaboration that's been months in the making. looking forward to being on there with them brothers, and it's a great way to close out the month with the Common Call crew.
And in 2 weeks, we are back with Shaft. That's right.
That's right. He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I am looking forward to that.
Absolutely, since for me, Shaft is one of the franchises that never was supposed to be a franchise.
And it was the only blaxploitation film to get 3 movies.
And also when you look, I'm just when you look about the continuity, I absolutely loved the Samuel Jackson Shaft, and then I absolutely loved how the new one retconned that one within the continuity. So that the latest one that we got, which was of course also, it was the big swan song of Shaft. So that basically. That this gave us coherent continuity over 3 generations.
Yep. And who would have thought that?
Exactly.
All the blaxploitation films, Shaft was the only one to go well past the 7th.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching all 5 films. And I know Shaft in Africa. I was like, man, that don't sound that intriguing when I was a kid, seeing that film. But I might have a different appreciation for that film because I know Black Media Man Cave recently covered it and he loved it. And it's been a long time since I've seen it. Because like I said, that was like the 3rd film that you rarely watch. So
actually, I think it was the first one that actually saw back when I was a teenager. But yeah. I like because I absolutely love as we talked yesterday. I love different settings all around the world.
Yeah, it puts a character in the way that they gotta do things differently than what they're used to do.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to revisiting that movie. So yeah, in 2 weeks, baby, Shaft. So with that in mind, we hope you have the rest of your weekend. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. This your boy Sean, VV. We are signing out. Have a great Saturday, y'all. And make sure y'all tune in to the Common Call crew tonight. Peace out.